What's up everybody, it's me Troy and I'm back again with another video, and I want to say thank you to everybody who watched my last video and commented and liked and subscribed ever since then and any other previous videos. Woo, I got that out of the way. So anyway, this is going to be a January wrap-up video. Before I even get into what I read this month, I want to ask you guys, did y'all watch Scandal Thursday? Well, I watched it just now. I actually just finished watching it. Today is Friday, but I just finished watching it, so I kind of it looks like it's really amping up now, because for sometimes it's kind of like a little dull maybe or whatever, but anyway, this episode from this week was amazing. I was really on the edge of my seat. Like, look, I had my chicken pot pie like this, like watching it, couldn't even eat because I wanted to see what exactly was gonna happen, and it was really good. I cannot wait till next week. But other than that, I will catch How to Get Away with Murder after I get done making this video. Okay, so let's go, let's get started. So like I was saying, this is my January wrap up. You know, I always try to associate, you know how you associate February with romance and love, and March with, like, what is that, the lion and the lamb, the wind and the cold weather, whatever that was. You know how you got those activity books in middle school or elementary school, and April with the blossoming of flowers. So I guess January will most be associated with Martin Luther King's birthday. So I think that's what I'm gonna start ticking that as. But anyway, I don't think I read anything related to Martin Luther King this month, and with that being said, this month was filled with Japanese, Chinese, and Korean authors, as well as murders. How to Get Away with Murder. So just a quick disclaimer, I am trying to catch up on my Robb in-depth mystery series. The 40th book is coming out on February 10th. That's like 7 days. I can't do math. That's like 7 days before my birthday. So if anybody want to buy me that book, you are welcome to. But other than that, I will be picking up the 40th book because I'm very excited about the fact that I'm back into this series after taking a 2-year break. This is book number, girl, I cannot do math for anything. 40, 49, 48, 47. So anyway, Calculated in Death, like I said, is book number 36 in the Robb in-depth mystery series, and y'all know I'm starting to love this series all over again. I wish I did not take that 2-year break, but at the same time, while I'm reading them now, I'm like so excited about reading this series. I'm catching up on the 4 books that I, missed. I mean, the series comes with its flaws, but I think for the most part, I'm learning that really the good outweighs the bad in just numerous proportions. Like, if you know anything about this series, then you're probably at this point addicted to it. It's like crack. It's book crack. But anyway, to get on point, Calculated in Death involves the murder of an accountant who was working on 3 different audits for 3 different companies. What happened was she was basically walking away from the office, and someone set up her murder to look like it was a robbery gone wrong. They took her briefcase, they took her coat, but they didn't take her shiny, expensive shoes. So Lieutenant Eve Dallas, who is the series protagonist, decides to, of course, do her job and investigate this woman's murder, and it leads to a stream of, gosh, I hate numbers, so it leads to a stream of account frauds. I don't think a Ponzi scheme was involved, but messing with numbers and all of that stuff, so the rich get rich and the poor get poor, basically. But the really interesting thing I found about this book that I really liked was that while there was a head man in charge who was sort of orchestrating and calculating, the bit players involved with the murder, it didn't focus so much on him. It focused on the hitman that he hired to do these murders. And I liked that part because it sort of gave the hitman his version of the story, as well as, little nuggets of his psychology relating to why he became a hitman. So I really liked this book. It was pretty good. As always, you just have to get into an in-depth book. So in catching up with my in-depth reading, I got Thankless and Death. Did I get my glaring right? Shit, I can't never turn this stuff right. Thankless and Death, which is book number 37 in Robb's in-depth mystery series. This one wasn't as good as Calculated. What happened in this book is that there was a child, let me tell you, he was a selfish 20-something-year-old guy, loser. I really don't like using that term, but a loser. His girlfriend kicked him out of her apartment. He didn't want to get a job. He lived with his parents. His parents did all this stuff for him, and at the end of the day, he still killed their ass. So you got your parents helping you out, and your ass kill them, then there's nothing I can say. But the point that I'm making is that this was an open mystery, meaning that you knew exactly who the killer was. It was just a matter of watching the series protagonist and her crew actually apprehend him. The thing I want to say about that is that while it was an open mystery, I did not find this book as thrilling as some other mystery writers or police procedural authors who, you know, decide to use this kind of formula to tell their story. And what I mean by that is that the killer, while he was all evil and all this stuff, he was not like getting in the way of her investigation. Basically, she just followed the clues and found his ass, and that was it. I was like, is he gonna do anything to, like, you know, thwart her? Did I say that right? Thwart. But anyway, that's exactly what I was looking for in this book, and it did not happen. But what I will say is that because this is book number 30, I lost count. Book number 36 in the series, there were some little pieces of character progression that took place, and I was very pleased with that. So yeah, Thankless and Death. And then I got 2 more books to read, and then I'll be finally caught up for February the 10th when Obsession and Death comes out. So remember, y'all want to buy that for my birthday, you welcome to. Next, I read Villain by Shuichi Yoshida. Shuichi Yoshida. Oh, I like that. It's kind of sexy. Let me stop. So before I even tell you guys about Villain, I'm just gonna read on the back, because if I try to give it away, if I try to talk about it, it felt like I'm gonna give something away. So, a woman is killed at a ghostly mountain pass in southern Japan, and the local police quickly pinpoint a suspect. Y'all better do it. But as the puzzle pieces of the crime slowly click into place, new questions arise. Is a villain simply the person who commits a crime, or are those who feel no remorse or malicious behavior just as guilty? Moving from office parks and claustrophobic, love hotels to desolate seaside towns and lighthouses, Shuichi Yoshida's dark thriller reveals the inner lives of men and women who have nothing or something to hide. That's what Villain's about. It's about a woman who's a serial dater, so to speak. She goes online, girl. She logs into get her email address, her password. She gets onto Match.com. She gets on interracial dating websites. She gets on Gay.com. She gets on Grindr.com. I'm lying. She don't get on all this stuff. But anyway, the point is that she gets on dating websites and she meets different men. So she's a serial dater who goes on websites to meet her man. You got me. You got me. What happens is, of course, she ends up running across the wrong man, and that man ends up strangling her ass on a dusty road somewhere on a desolate highway, as the book said, right? But what I really liked about Villain is that if you are familiar with those noir, those dark psychological Japanese thrillers, then you know that there's always this subtle underlining question involved with the book. Okay, but anyway, I really enjoyed Villain. This was my first by Yoshida-san, and I just have to say that I will be looking forward to reading more of his books. It really was a great, slow-burning, dark, noir psychological Japanese thriller, but it wasn't so intense like some of the like Natsuo Kirino. Maybe it wasn't as intense as her, but it was really intriguing, I suppose. That's basically what it came down to. And I wasn't so mad at the end of it, and what I mean by being mad was that I kind of was at peace with some of the choices some of these characters made, even though some of their asses just need to be blown away. But yes, I really did like this book. It was good.